In 1919, Boston got hit by a wave, not from the harbor, from a tank of molasses. It rose higher than a two-story house and moved like a car in traffic. So, yes, the slowest food in your kitchen outran people. But the real story is not the wave. It is the warning signs everyone could see. The tank stood in the north end, 50 feet tall. It held about 2.3 million gallons, enough sticky sugar to make a neighborhood nervous, and it leaked. Kids reportedly scooped molasses from the seams. Adults complained. The company did not rebuild it. They painted the tank brown, which is not engineering. It is camouflage. Then January 15th got weird. Boston warmed up after freezing weather. A fresh load of warm molasses went in. The steel tank began to groan. Rivets popped like little gunshots. Then, the whole thing burst. The waves smashed buildings and lifted streetcars. 21 people died. About 150 were injured. Rescue workers had to move through knee-deep glue. The company blamed anarchists because apparently the tank had better PR than the victims. A court-appointed auditor did not buy it. After years of hearings, the company was held responsible. Boston's sticky disaster helped push stricter building oversight. So the punchline is not, molasses is dangerous. It is, if your safety plan is brown paint, the city is already sinking. And somewhere under modern Boston, the syrup still wins one tiny argument. The part everyone skips is the business model. This was not grandma's breakfast bottle. It was industrial sugar traffic. Molasses came in by ship. It fed alcohol plants. Alcohol fed explosives, solvents, and money. So the tank was not cute. It was a cash register with rivets. And it sat beside homes, tracks, and lunch counters. Because cities do this all the time. They put dangerous convenience next to ordinary life. Then call it infrastructure. The tank went up in 1915. People later said it was rushed. Its steel plates were too thin in places. Its rivets were stressed. It was never properly full water tested. Which sounds boring. Until your boring test becomes a neighborhood. The first warning was sound. Workers heard creaks and groans. The second warning was smell. Molasses seeped through seams. The third warning was behavior. Kids collected the leaks in cans. Imagine a building leaking snacks. Now imagine everyone calling that normal. Residents complained for years. The company had a cheaper idea. Paint it brown. Brown tank, brown leak. Problem visually solved. That is the whole movie in one stupid brushstroke. Then, the weather helped. Boston had been freezing. On January 15th, it warmed fast. Warm molasses had just arrived. Fresh, heavy liquid pushed against tired steel. The tank did not explode like dynamite. It failed like a bad promise. First came a roar. Then metal tore open. A wall of molasses ran down the street. It was thick, but not slow. Reports put it near 35 miles an hour. A horse cannot negotiate with syrup at 35. Neither can a streetcar. The wave shoved buildings off their foundations. It bent elevated tracks. It carried beams, carts, and people. This is where the joke stops. 21 people died. Roughly 150 were injured. Families were wrecked by an object that sounded silly. Rescue workers stepped in and got stuck. Firefighters used ropes like they were crossing a swamp. The molasses cooled and thickened. Every minute made the rescue harder. Boston Harbor smelled sweet. The street looked like a desert crime scene. But the lawsuits were not sweet. United States Industrial Alcohol had a theory. Maybe enemies did it. Maybe anarchists planted a bomb. Very convenient. The tank, somehow, was the victim. Investigators spent years listening. Witnesses described leaks. Engineers studied metal. The auditor studied the story nobody wanted. And the sabotage theory fell apart. The tank had been badly designed and badly tested. The company was held responsible. It paid damages. More importantly, the disaster became a warning label. Not on molasses, on unchecked construction. Afterward, Boston and Massachusetts tightened oversight. Plans needed real professional accountability. A signature mattered. Inspection mattered. The boring paperwork had a body count behind it. That is why this story spreads. It starts as a ridiculous wave, then becomes a perfect modern argument. What do we ignore because fixing it costs money? What do we repaint because admitting it leaks is embarrassing? What warning signs are currently being treated as decor? The Molasses flood is not funny because people died. It is unforgettable because the object is absurd. A breakfast ingredient exposed an industrial lie. The city did not sink because syrup was magical. It sank because everyone could see the brown drip. And powerful people called it normal. So if a giant tank is leaking in your neighborhood, do not ask what color they painted it. Ask who signed the plans. Ask who inspected the seams. And if the answer is, trust us, run like the syrup learned cardio.